Thank you for tuning in to the Catch a Lift Fund's Coach's Corner podcast. We hope you enjoy today's episode and will consider supporting the Catch a Lift Fund and the veterans we serve. Visit our website for more information about our programs at catchaliftfund.org. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis or suicidal thoughts, please call 988 or the Veterans Crisis Line 988, followed immediately by the number 1. The views and opinions expressed during the Coach's Corner podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the Catch a Lift Fund. The Catch a Lift Fund does not verify or warrant the truth or accuracy of statements made during the podcast, and statements therein are not to be construed as an official policy or position of the Catch a Lift Fund. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only, and nothing herein should be construed as health, medical, or other professional advice. The Coach's Corner is a place for veterans to connect, heal, and share their stories. I'm Melissa Luke, the host of the Coach's Corner podcast. I am a U.S. Army Iraq War veteran, coach, and program director for the Catch a Lift Fund. The Coach's Corner is sponsored by ID Technologies. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coach's Corner. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We are excited to present part 2 of U.S. Coast Guard veteran Aaron Bean's story. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coach's Corner. Aaron, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're honored to have you back today and continue your incredible story. So when we left off last week, you already mentioned it, right? Like you were so methodical about the things that you were doing, and it became very, very intense for those around you, in a non-active duty, non-military setting. Aaron, talk to us about going back to school and what that was like for you.
I got to go to college at Oregon State, and I fell in love with the Pacific Northwest. When I moved to Corvallis, we had 30 days of blue sky and sunny weather. But as soon as we started school, it rained for 9 months. So it made for a good studying environment, just kept us indoors and focused on our curriculum. But I did anthropology. I studied liberal arts at Oregon State. We had a really mature anthropology department. And, it was something that whenever I was on active duty, I knew I wanted to go to college. I worked with pilots that all had college degrees, and that was something that I wanted to be like those pilots, and the only real difference was that they had college degrees. So, I was reading this book called What Color Is Your Parachute? Why are you here? And what is your purpose? And so I never really pinned down an answer to that, but I knew that I was going to be working with other people. And so I felt like if I knew more about people, where we come from, who we are, why we do the things we do, that I would be more successful in working with people. And so that's why I studied anthropology.
That's incredible. Talk to us about, what that time was like for you. Is that when you would go into the VA too and start to kind of look at some of the stuff from your military experience, or would that come later?
So I didn't want to participate in the VA healthcare at all. I signed up to get care at the college. They had a program for college kids. You could be seen at the clinic there. But believe it or not, I actually got a general discharge from active duty, and it wasn't because of any personnel issues. Right. You look at my record, and everything's pretty cool. I did get written up once for sitting in a hot tub with a girl after hours at the gym, but it was sort of allowed. But anyway. Yeah, I got a general discharge. I didn't really want to associate myself with the military at all. I wanted to move on from that. And I really focused hard on my education and just being a good student. And yeah, I had a hard time navigating the GI Bill while I was in college. Um, I was Chapter 30, and they were working on Chapter 33 at the time, and it caused some ripple effects in the other VA programs. There was like, I know it wasn't like publicly. I know it wasn't a policy, but like there was a spending freeze at one point where, one semester I had a really hard time getting my break pay. I was fully enrolled, and I was already enrolled in the next semester, and we had to call in and verify our education in order to get our GI Bill. And I had VA operators like hanging up on me and just giving us a really hard time. It was it was not cool. So I made it through 4 years. I got the GI Bill all 4 years, and then the cool thing about Chapter 33 was once I had graduated, I had a whole another year of funding for education, which was really nice. So yeah, being a student at Oregon State was fun. I lived off campus, so I didn't really have like a typical college experience. I was older, and but I really enjoyed my time there. My education was really, really important to me, so I buckled down and studied really hard.
Right. That's tremendous. Aaron, what advice would you give to other veterans who, are considering going back to school,
Well,
and
yeah,
using that GI Bill and just,
yeah.
kind of navigating that system and, either if they're nervous about it or maybe they're currently doing it, it's just like, man, this is very difficult.
So one thing that I've seen many colleges and universities do is they cater to the veteran because of how valuable the GI Bill is.
Yeah.
Over the 4 years that I was at Oregon State, they distributed $95,000 to me. So colleges have realized that that's a valuable opportunity for them.
Right.
And I've seen schools with really mature veteran centers where they provide administrative staff, and they even like set up buildings for veterans to have their own like clubs and their own centers. And so schools that really cater to veterans are going to make accessing that GI Bill much easier. And this is a really weird recommendation, but it's something that I've seen like trending in the colleges, and it even at Oregon State during finals week, they would bring therapy dogs to school and let like students just pet dogs when they're stressed out. And I never got to use a therapy dog at school, but I know more and more schools are doing it. And now, after the Paws Act was passed, the VA is bringing dogs to the different units in the hospitals just to let people pet the dogs. And I thought that's such a good idea. Like I worked with Retrieving Freedom to get a service dog, and just having a dog with you, like they work as like a great ambassador for you. Like since I had a service dog, like I can tell you, there have been no intense interactions with other people. Like they see her and they put their guard down, and
That's
everybody
incredible.
warm and welcoming, and it's much nicer. And so yeah, that's another tidbit I would tell veterans, especially if you have PTSD, to go to retrievingfreedom.org and apply for a service dog, because they have a really mature program. They have a ton of dogs available, and they need veterans. They need clients to apply. So bring your dog to school.
That's incredible advice, and thank you for telling us about the organization and everything, because we get that we get that question a lot from veterans.
Yeah,
And oftentimes I know veterans get frustrated because
it's hard.
they'll look into it and it's very hard and there's a lack of dogs or a lack of trained dogs. So thank you for that recommendation. That's tremendous.
Yeah,
Um,
Retrieving Freedom's nationwide too. So even if you live in Hawaii, like they will fly you to their headquarters and you will stay there. Just they have lodging like in this gorgeous facility that they just built, and they'll like let you train with your dog and pair with your dog, and then you can go home just in 5 days, like, or less. They're awesome, and every veteran with PTSD should be calling and emailing and writing them, because it's an amazing organization, and they're getting tremendous amount of support from so many different places.
That's tremendous. Thank you for telling us about that. And we'll make sure we put that down in the show notes too for anyone to look into them.
Thanks.
Absolutely. I want to shift gears here a little bit with you, Aaron, and talk to you about your passion for running. And if everyone goes back, to the beginning of part one, you talked about that training, the intense physical training aspect of, being a rescue swimmer. And one of the things was running. You said,
Yeah.
you were, very much prepared for the swimming side of it. Swimming was really your jam, but you guys ran and ran and ran, and especially your group. So talk to us now about your running, Aaron. What still drives that passion for running for you?
Yeah, we jokingly called it Rescue Runner School for a while.
Love it.
Back when I was up in Kodiak, like, not a whole lot of opportunities to run, just really because of the terrain and the weather. It wasn't until I started dealing with PTSD, like the symptoms, that I turned to running. I was able to use it as an outlet. I had the help and support of the Wounded Warrior Project to really motivate me. I was running 5Ks every month, and I did it for 2 years straight, which
Oh my gosh.
really propelled me into making running like a passion of mine. After those 2 years, I started running marathons, and I learned something about my body. Like, when you run, especially like a long distance, like, your body can make as much energy as like a stick of TNT. And I knew that I needed to direct that energy somewhere, like that energy was inside of me, whether I was running or not. And so I really kind of used running as a coping mechanism, and a way to like help manage my stress. And it was fun to be good at it. And I like actually won races. I got first place in my age group at the Bass Pro Shops Marathon in Springfield, Missouri. And I did well. And it was, it's not hard to love a sport when, you go to compete and you're always winning. That like makes it really easy.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt the situation, right?
Yeah. So, and I found other opportunities as well. Like you said, my sport is swimming. So I started doing triathlons. I was an excellent swimmer, excellent runner, but I had to learn a new sport. I had to learn how to navigate a bike, how to operate a bike. I had to learn like tactics and all this stuff for cycling that was really challenging. Cycling has been the most challenging sport that I've ever participated in, and so just growing as an individual and joining new groups. I did a Ironman marathon and Ironman triathlon in Michigan, which I got to visit Michigan. I'd never been, and so that was really awesome. And yeah, running has been a part of my life. I did a run last year that didn't go as well as I had liked. I think it took me almost 2 hours to finish a half marathon, and I was pretty down about it. I didn't. I got like clinically depressed afterwards, even though I was actually in great shape. Like, I got home from the marathon and I was able to recover pretty quickly, and I was like out there pushing my lawnmower. Like, I had a little 30-pound push reel mower that I was able to cut my whole lawn with, the day after I ran the half marathon. So, but it really got to me, and I stopped running for an entire year. And
Oh wow.
it wasn't until I started the 8-week fitness program at Catch a Lift that I got out there again. And I'm glad I did. I got out there. I've been running 10Ks 3 times a week, and I feel great. Like, it's
That's
really
tremendous.
really brought me back around to how I used to feel when I was running.
That's
And
absolutely tremendous to hear.
one of the things that I was really suffering from, uh, it's I had bilateral pneumonia, and I had a positive PCR test in 2020, and um, I think my VA providers put that I was suffering from a long COVID syndrome, and
Okay.
that's really knocked me down. I'm not the same athlete as I was before, and I've read articles about Olympians who have had the same diagnosis and that aren't able to compete at that level anymore, and so um, that was really discouraging. I was really afraid that I wasn't going to get back to that, but
Right.
one of the cool things about being physically active is that you suffer less of the negative symptoms from like a long COVID or a SARS-CoV-2 infection. So getting back out there has helped my lungs clear up. I don't suffer sinus infections as often as I have been, and I feel so much better getting out there and just being active after taking a whole year off.
That's absolutely incredible. And we're gonna kind of loop back around to this because, like you said, that 8-week program at Catch a Lift, has helped so much. Um, so kind of before we get into that some more, Aaron, how did you find Catch a Lift?
I knew about Catch a Lift Fund as soon as I got my VA award.
Okay.
I got treatment at the VA. I started in 2015, and then by 2017, I had already partially applied. I stopped because I'm not a combat veteran, and so I really just didn't know if I belonged at Catch a Lift. But I knew that Catch a Lift Fund was out there, and I want to give a big shout out to my wife because she has recently expressed her wealth is her health, and that has made a huge impact in both of our lives because we we have a beautiful family, and um, we take great care of ourselves. But she said to me, she said, we need more home exercise equipment. And I was like, we do. And so I said, I know where we can go for help and make that a reality. And man, I signed up for Catch a Lift, did all the interviews, and got welcomed into the community. And it was awesome. Getting Vet Connect and listening to the Coach's Corner. And my wife saw the transition happen really quickly. And so, yeah, now we're both excited to train together in a home gym environment. I already framed some walls down in our basement.
Oh, heck yeah.
Create a really nice gym environment for us to train at home. And yeah, my wife really motivated me. So I want to give a big shout out to my wife, Sharon.
Oh, that's tremendous. Well, I'm so glad, that you were able to find Catch a Lift, and we're honored to have you as a part of the program, Aaron. Um, you've been working with Catch a Lift's running coach, Coach Jess. What's that been like for you working with a fellow veteran runner, like especially after kind of that year off of running? What did that do for you and your recovery?
Shout out to Coach Barry. She's been there for me every single step of the way. And she's a mom and I'm a dad. Like, we have so much in common. Like, she knows the struggle is real, and she's always there to listen to me if I wasn't able to get out and run. And she's challenging me back. Like, I told her one day that I was having trouble walking on some plantar fasciitis. It's really bad in the morning when if you
Okay.
have it.
Okay.
And she just encouraged me. And then on that same day, I went out and I ran at night. I did a 10K at night, which was not something that I had been doing. And it was really neat. I got to see some wildlife that, normally wouldn't be out there. And it was quiet. There was no, other pedestrians on the trail. So I really started to take to this night running. And, it's because Coach Barry, I feel accountable to her. And
Yeah.
I know that she's a runner too. Like, she's got a similar goal to mine. She said, she really wants to prepare herself to run the Marine Corps Marathon this year. And I know that she has not been running. And so she's really starting from scratch, similar to me. And I know that, if she can do it, I can certainly do it. I did the Marine Corps Marathon in 2017. I got to meet Kyle Carpenter, Marine
Oh,
Corps
awesome.
honor recipient. I was out there with the Semper Fi Fund. And so I got to sit front row and listen to Kyle talk about his service and everything he's been doing since. And it's obviously an inspirational story. The guy's been through hell. And so it was an amazing experience to run through DC. I love being in DC. It's such a wild place. So many people from all around the world are located there. And I've been before, and just to be back and run the Marine Corps Marathon on the same streets that I was walking down just with my family, it was an amazing experience. I was with my running buddy Jeremy Seeley. He's a Coast Guard active duty guy, and at the end of the Marine Corps Marathon, his wife was at the finish line with like a big sign, and she's pregnant again, and she was able to break the news to him at the end of the Marine Corps Marathon.
Oh my gosh.
Really special. So that race is an awesome time.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. What does your training look like now, Aaron?
I literally went from couch to 10K. I'm in week 8 of the 8-week fitness program, so I've committed to doing 3 hours a week of physical training, and I'm doing running. And so I've been out there doing 10K every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and I'm almost finished. And unofficially, I've lost 10 pounds during the 8 weeks. And
oh, that's tremendous! Congratulations.
I feel so much better. Another weird side effect of this 8-week fitness program, I've stayed away from alcohol, and I wanted to share a bit of based knowledge that I came across, and hopefully it'll impact some of the other Cal athletes if they're listening. Apparently, some of the hops in beer that's used to like help preserve the beer and make beer can give you a pretty high dose of plant esterols, and so the body can sometimes process those similar to how your body would process excess estrogen in your system. So
really,
I've stayed away from beer for the last 8 weeks, and it's really made me feel a whole lot better, healthier, happier, and
good for you.
Yeah, so just a little anecdote, non-scientific evidence, but just my own evidence. But Yuengling is coming to Missouri, the distribution of Yuengling, and so that's probably going to break my streak of 8 weeks. But that's for next week when I'm finished with the fitness program.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. And again, we're so happy for you and the tremendous work you've done with that 8 weeks. And Coach Jess, she's an absolutely phenomenal coach. So I'm so glad that you've had that opportunity. Talk to us a little bit, Aaron, about how you handle setbacks, in your training as they come. Like you said, you're married, kids. How do you balance that and stay training when setbacks kind of come your way?
Yeah, I feel really fortunate that, I haven't really had huge setbacks. I did have pneumonia. I did have plantar fasciitis, but
those are both pretty good setbacks that would derail, a lot of people.
So one thing I learned in the military, the Coast Guard's motto is Semper Paratus, meaning always ready.
Okay.
And they would always tell us, to be prepared. I think that's the Boy Scouts motto. And sometimes they say, be prepared to go without. So the real challenge that I find is just the daily life, like not being able to get enough training. So in preparation for marathons, and right now I'm preparing to do the Bataan Death March with Wounded Warrior Project next month.
Wow.
Some of the guys that are on my team are in knee braces and don't train at all, and we're going to go do 26.2 miles together. And so be prepared to go without is sometimes what I use as my motivation to get through some setbacks. So if I don't have enough training, like I know that I'm gonna just need to suffer through it and
Yeah.
just give it all the guts I have. And usually, if I'm able to complete the event, it's a huge spirit lifter. I feel really motivated. I know that I didn't prepare maybe as much as I would have liked, but I still got the job done, and that's always something that really makes me feel good afterwards.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. How are you handling, like you said, you've lost 10 pounds this last 8 weeks. How are you handling your nutrition and, keeping up with your training?
So I've been working with a new physician at the VA. She's encouraged me to run. She actually handed me a flyer for Team Red, White, and Blue, which I signed up for at the same time as Catch a Lift because I knew I was going to need help to get through the 8-week fitness program. And um, you know, I've been taking off pounds. I've been changing my lifestyle. My wife is awesome at meal preparation, and for a long time I was using a meal service called I forget what it was called, but they would send me the ingredients and I would just make the meals for my
Okay.
family. That was a really good way of getting fresh, healthy food into my diet. I've been I got some First Form products because I'm on Strength Elite, and they have a partnership with First Form. And
Yep.
First, they're right in my backyard here in Fenton, Missouri. So, um, yeah, we've been supplementing with First Form. Another thing, I haven't been using any cholesterol medication. My physician wrote in my chart after my last exam that it wasn't necessary. I told her, that I had been losing weight and changing my lifestyle, so she was happy to take me off cholesterol medication.
Oh, that's awesome.
Direct-
Congratulations.
Directly attributed to the work that I'm doing at Catch a Left Fund. So I'm glad to be free of one medication.
Yeah, that's huge. Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Aaron. That's tremendous work. And talking a little bit more about Catch a Lift, we know what an impact it's been, to be able to work with Coach Jess and everything. You're losing weight, you're dropping medications, and that's no joke coming off of a cholesterol medication like that. I mean, that's just absolutely tremendous. But you mentioned Vet Connect and stuff, and one of the pillars of Catch a Lift is community. And as veterans, that's so important for us. What's it been like for you, Aaron, to be connected with so many like-minded veterans during your time in the wellness program?
It's absolutely incredible. I don't use social media, but when I signed up for Catch a Lift, one of the tasks was to use the website, find out what resources are available, and there's layers and layers upon resources, and the Vet Connect has been amazing. I got connected with Nate Shue, a veteran that lives nearby. Yeah, and just on a side note, there's no bots on Vet Connect.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
super mature like social
Yeah.
media network that is full of genuine individuals
Yeah.
um, that are that are training hard. And one of the other guys in my peer support group, shout out to Travis Anderson if he's listening. He signed up for Catch a Lift and just started his fitness program, and we connected together on Vet Connect. So yeah, real genuine connections. And I've been sharing photos and videos and just anniversaries and fun stuff like you normally do on a social media network, and that's not typically something I would do personally, but
Right.
as being a Catch a Lift athlete, they ask you to commit to helping other veterans, and I seriously I put myself out there just to make sure that if anybody else needed help out there, that there was other guys out there with them.
And so like we said, obviously one of the pillars of Catch Lift is that community pillar, and we all need that community. And in a virtual world, right? That's very hard to do. And that was one of the things that Vet Connect enabled us to do, was to have a social platform that's free of what you would normally experience on social platforms, right? So we're so grateful that you've been able to utilize that and find camaraderie and community there. You mentioned this next goal you're training for, that Bataan Death March.
Yeah.
What's that going to entail, Aaron?
We're in a team of 5, and it's all Wounded Warrior Project alumni, and we are going to be carrying weights. So our team is on, I think we have to carry 25 pounds, and it's a 26.2 ruck style march through the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. So we're preparing for 6, 8, 12 hours of physical activity. It's,
Wow.
it was sold to me as, hey, would you like to apply for an intense endurance event? And I thought initially, like, no, I don't want to hurt myself. But when they told me that it was, in my lane of running
Yeah.
and hiking, I was like, absolutely. If it was going to be something else, like, I tend to steer clear of events where, like, you get electrocuted or,
Yeah,
you have to,
I'm
like,
sure.
crawl through mud or something like that. So those types of events are not in my lane, but this one was totally in my lane, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm probably going to be one of the leaders on the team. One of the other guys, he already asked me if I would carry his weights for him. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's tremendous. We're so looking forward to hearing how that goes, and if you're comfortable with it, please, let us know on Vet Connect
Yeah.
after.
Yes.
We'd love to hear more about it. I do have one last question for you here today, Aaron. What does it mean to you to be a Catch a Lift Fund veteran athlete?
Oh man, it's meant a lot to me. It's put me in a better relationship with my family. My wife, she has been my motivation, and she's happier seeing me train, and I feel like I've been doing more for my family, like as a father. My wife has helped me get those 3 hours a week to train, and I've been able to increase my energy and just step up in all the other areas of my life. And just being on Vet Connect is another huge step for me. That's something I don't normally participate in. And just being on the Catch a Lift, the Coaches Corner podcast, I've been subscribed and listening for the last 8 weeks, and I'm all about that life, the things that people are talking about, and the experiences that people have had and shared on the Coaches Corner has been it's been a big deal for me.
Well, we're so honored to have you on today, Aaron, and to hear your story. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing openly and honestly with us. We're very grateful to have you a part of this community and family.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week for another episode highlighting one of our incredible Catch a Lift Fund members and veteran athletes. Special thank you to Aaron for sharing your story and light with us all today. And we thank you, Aaron, for your service to our great country. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday live at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube for a chance to win Cal Swag and to chat with your brothers and sisters. If you liked today's episode, please be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave us a review on your favorite streaming service. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.